Republicans in Congress are hoping that we don't notice that what they're working on right now is expanding and extending tax cuts for the richest people and corporations while we pay for it. How? By gutting programs like Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. So let's break this down. Back in 2017, during this man's first term, Republicans passed one of the biggest tax giveaways to billionaires and corporations in modern history. We're talking about tax breaks so outrageous that CEOs were able to write off luxury yachts and private jets. Meanwhile, everyday Americans barely saw a difference, if they saw any difference at all. But here's the catch. Those tax cuts are not permanent. They're set to expire this year, 2025. And that's why billionaires like Elonia and Jeff Bezos are panicking. Because if those cuts expire, they might actually have to pay their fair share just like the rest of us. So instead of letting those tax breaks expire, Republicans in Congress want to extend them and add even more giveaways to the ultra-rich and corporations. And to do that, you have to balance the equation, which means that they're coming for our benefits. So for example, they're proposing $2.3 trillion in cuts to Medicaid over the next decade. That's nearly 1/3 of all Medicaid funding. That means that millions of people would lose their healthcare, rural hospitals would shut down, the people that work at those hospitals would end up without a job, and the costs for working families would skyrocket. This doesn't just affect the people that get Medicaid benefits, okay? The people that work in places that receive Medicaid funding, the nurses, the doctors, the administrators that run these rural hospitals would also be impacted. And that's not all. They're also trying to target SNAP, which helps low-income families put food on the table. They're looking at Medicare, so it would be harder for seniors to afford healthcare. And they're also looking at Social Security, our earned benefits, because these billionaires do not want to contribute even a fraction back into the system. And the worst part about all this, if they go ahead with their plan and cut all these programs that millions of Americans rely on, this plan of theirs would still add trillions of dollars to the national debt. So when these Republicans in Congress are talking about fiscal responsibility and how we have to be careful with our money, we need to be on the same page that they just want to help the ultra wealthy get even richer. This is what they're working on. There's something we can do about it, especially right now, this week, until February 21st, 2025. Members of Congress are home this week, which means right now is your best chance to make them listen. Call your member of Congress, call their office, find out when they're having a town hall, schedule a meeting with them, and demand that they protect our benefits. You can easily find out who represents you at house.gov and tell them, hands off our healthcare, hands off our Social Security, and no more giveaways to billionaires and corporations. What they're hoping is that we will stay quiet. And right now, we need to prove them wrong.